Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's webinar. I'm so glad that y'all are here, or if you're watching the replay, I'm glad you're watching the replay. I will go ahead, I'm gonna share my screen real quick again because I wanted to show y'all a few things. But I did want you to see my face, so you know who's leading you tonight. And my name's Heather. I will be your host, and I'll share a little bit more about me here in a second. All right, let's look here. Okay, so let's just dive in. Let's go over some housekeeping, just the, boring rules of a Zoom webinar that we have to keep in mind. Number one, make sure that you've put Heather at restoredholisticcoaching.com on your emails safe list because this meeting is being recorded. And I want you to make sure that you get the emails for the replay and all the links and stuff that we'll talk about in today's webinar, and then also just future emails from me. That way it doesn't go into your junk or your spam. So make sure that you put that on your email safe list. And I am going to have everyone stay muted until the Q&A section. And then if anybody wants to ask any questions during the Q&A at the end, you definitely can. Use the chat if you want during the thing. If you have like reactions or thoughts, you can always put it in there and I'll try to keep up with the chat. If you have a specific question about like your specific situation, in regards to like what I'm talking about or whatever, save that for the Q&A. So that I can make sure to catch it and answer you. But if it's just a general comment or a like, oh, I've never thought about that, or something like that, you can definitely use the chat. And I guess that's it as far as that goes. So let's jump into the exciting stuff. So a little bit about me. My name's Heather Dillard. I am a licensed professional counselor. I have over 10 years of experience with mental health care with kids, teens, and adults. And I also have training in trauma-informed care, which is a little bit different than just the regular mental health, psychological, brain-based work. The trauma-informed care is a lot of what I do now with the body-centered approach. Just knowing that people go through things in their life and it affects how we react. And so like what's coming on the outside may not be exactly what's going on the inside because everyone has a past. And so just coming from a trauma-informed care approach. So now I do body-centered approach with my help with women. I mainly work with women who have autoimmune issues or anxious nerves and just help them learn to be able to listen to their bodies and heal themselves because our bodies were created to heal themselves. But a lot of times if you lived with an autoimmune disorder, it's really hard to listen to your body. Like you tolerate your body, like those of us who have lived with an autoimmune disorder, you tolerate your body. You're very aware of it in the sense that it annoys you and that it's in pain a lot, but you don't always know how to listen to your body, or you may not even know what that means. You may think, like, when you hear me talk about that, you may be like, Heather, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's okay, because that's what we're going to talk about today. My background is that I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis when I was 15, and that led to a 20+ year experience of learning how my body is wired to heal itself. It took a long time to get there because I had to go through, the normal process of just traditional medicine and things like that, and things not working and surgeries and all the things. Long story. But needless to say, I have a lot of experience in this area, and that's why I'm so passionate about working with people with autoimmune issues, because I have learned over the years that you can learn to listen to your body. You can learn to be a friend with your body, and your body can actually be trusted, believe it or not. And so that's what I help with in my one-on-one coaching. And I also have a gluten-free home bakery that does gluten-free and dairy-free baked goods. And so I've also learned how to work with people with lots of different food restrictions. So if things bother you or your gut, in the middle of the whole autoimmune thing, that's okay because I'm used to working with that too. So nutrition guidelines may not necessarily be what you want to focus on. I'm going to talk about my one-on-one coaching here in a little bit, but if it is one of the things that you really have wanted to focus on in your life, and then we start working together, that is something that I can help with. So more on that in the future. Hang tight. I will give more details about all that at the end. So excited. I just have a note here. So with the brain, the body-based approach, a lot of times with normal psychology, going to therapy, seeing a counselor, the approach is more brain-based, like thinking patterns, changing the way you think, stuff like that. Not saying thinking is not important, because it is, but holistic coaching starts with the body first. So we can address, and we will address, like mindset and environment, things like that. But first, we're going to start with learning and focusing on what our bodies, our physical bodies are reacting, and how, because our bodies are trying to tell us things and we don't always learn to listen. And if you want more on that, as far as just the scientific side of all that, of how our brain and our body work together and how our body is giving us signals and messages all the time, today's not as much about that, but I have gone into more detail about that in previous webinars. So you can check out the other webinars. They're going to be on my YouTube channel. So it's just Restored Holistic Coaching on YouTube. Those webinars will go more into the science side of it. So definitely, if that's something that interests you, dive into those. And I'm just gonna blaze on through, because that's enough of me trying to do an intro. So we're just gonna tackle. So as you know, the webinar today is called 3 Lies That We've Believed About Our Bodies and the Truth That Helps Us Heal. And so we're going to talk about 3 common misconceptions and lies that we have believed, especially if you struggle with an autoimmune disorder. These things are definitely things that usually get picked up, and this is things I've heard from the clients that I work with. And so I want to just talk about it, and then maybe by the end of this, I'm hoping that you will walk away with some hope and some tools in your tool belt to help you continue on this journey, and know that you're not destined to just be in despair and pain and despising your body forever. There's another way. So that's what I want to bring to you today. So lie number 1, my body is not worthy. So what this can look like a lot of times is like, my body is not worth being taken care of, or it's not worthy of feeling better. Like, I don't deserve to feel better. Some people might just kind of dismiss it, like, oh, it's just temporary. Like, it's like an earth suit. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but like, or a flesh suit, like, my body's temporary, so how I treat it doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. Like, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Or you've been told that you're not worth it, so you wonder, why should I treat my body any differently? Like, if I'm told I'm not worth it, then why should I bother taking care of my body? Or you've tried taking care of your body at some point, but you've messed up too much, or you feel like you've just maybe you've tried to eat a certain way, or cut down on certain things, or exercise more, or whatever the thing is, but you just feel like you messed up so much that, like, what's the point in trying to fix it now? I've gone too far. So if this is you, the truth that I want to present to you on this one is there's actually 2 parts. I had a lot to say on this one, and so I broke it up into 2 parts. So truth part 1 for this lie about your body not being worthy is that you're worth it just because you're human. Like, just because we are human beings on this earth, you have the inherent right to have your needs taken care of. So a lot of us, you might have grown up in an environment where the adults that were supposed to take care of you didn't. And I just want to say I'm really sorry if that is you and that happened to you. Or maybe you're growing up, maybe your physical needs were taken care of, but the trusted adults in your life, or the people that should have been trusted, they weren't there emotionally for you. So maybe when big emotions were coming up for you and you were trying to process through things, you didn't have adults in your life that helped you process through that. Like they send you to the room, or they send you, say, like, oh, I'll give you something to cry about, that sort of thing. So if that's you, I want to challenge you that, and then just encourage you that as an adult now, you can choose to take care of and to be there for yourself. So this is something that I've had to deal with. And I've started just talking to myself out loud, because it helps me get in the habit of changing this mindset if I just talk to myself out loud. So you can do this in your bathroom or in the car, or, somewhere where nobody's going to hear you. But a lot of times I'll say, like, I am sorry, like I'll just talk to my body, like, body, I am sorry that growing up, you didn't feel like you had somebody that was there for you. That when you had big emotions and cried a lot, that you felt like you were alone and that you didn't have someone to come alongside you and just maybe ask questions or just sit beside you and just be there in the middle of all those big emotions. And so, but now as an adult, I kind of talk to my like child self, that part of us that just needs encouragement. Say, I'm going to be here for you now. I'm sorry that you didn't feel like somebody was there for you in the middle school and high school years, but I'm going to be there for you now. So that's just one example. Maybe a little bit extreme. Maybe it's not quite that much, in your case, but it just gives you an example of how to talk to your body a little bit differently. So it doesn't mean we won't have those feelings of feeling abandoned or feeling like nobody was there for us or feeling like we're not worth it. It doesn't mean those thoughts automatically go away, but it's just a recognizing when they do come up and then choosing to talk to ourselves differently. Be like, hey, I'm sorry that you didn't feel like somebody was there for you, or I'm sorry that this person who should have been trusted told you you weren't worth it, but I'm telling you you're worth it, and I'm going to stick with you. And then hopefully you'll find other people like real life people who will be able to say that to you too. But even if you don't, you can be there for yourself. And then part two is that all of our systems are connected. So your physical body is going to be affected by what goes on in your mental and emotional states. And then that's going to affect like your immune system and how your body combats and fights infections and things like that. So when we neglect or abuse our physical bodies, that's whether it's through our thoughts or actually through our actions, like not taking care of our bodies, or maybe feeding it foods that it doesn't like, or not taking care of it, not treating it well, it's going to have a ripple effect on the health of your emotions and your mental capacity and your focus. And so if you go throughout the day and you feel sluggish or tired or unmotivated or depressed, take a look at like how you're treating your physical body, because those are all connected and it might have something to do with it. If you haven't gotten out in the sunshine today, or you haven't moved your body any and you've just been sitting there, or you've been, binging on TV shows that kind of make you a little depressed or jealous, maybe then you need to get out and about and change your surroundings. And, so your physical body is going to affect your mental and emotional health too. So the thoughts that you think are going to affect your physical body, and the way you treat your physical body is going to affect your mental and emotional health. So everything's connected. So keep that in mind as we go through this. So lie number 2 is my body is bad. Now, what this can look like is that maybe you've been told, or you've learned through watching others, other family members, siblings, other people in your life, or just through your own experiences. So you might have been told this specifically, or it may have just been something that you picked up just from watching and experiencing what is going on around you, that your body is inherently evil or prone to sin, or only serves as a temptation to others. So this can happen a lot in some like religious circles. Is they might even specifically be told like your body is evil, it's prone to sin, there's nothing good about it, and you have to watch it, especially if you're a woman, like you have to watch it because it's going to be a temptation for men. And so it makes you want to hide and cover up your body, and also just not treat it with respect, like just You might even think like, why would I give voice? Like when I talk about listening to the messages that your body sends you, you may be like, why would I give voice to something that I think is bad? Or like, why would I listen to my body when I've been told that it's only for evil? So that may be, if that's something that you struggle with, I want to talk about this. So the truth for this one is our bodies have amazing systems that were created to automatically heal us. So like think about the most fantastic place you've been, or maybe you've seen a video or seen a picture or whatever. But like think about like if you live out in the country and you get to see all the stars, and then maybe you've even been out where it's dark enough where you can actually see the Milky Way. Have y'all ever seen that? Or the Grand Canyon? Even if you've just seen pictures of the Grand Canyon, like it's amazing. If you've been there in person, it looks like a painting. So it actually looks like a picture. It doesn't even look like real life, but like things like that. So think about like the most amazing thing just out in nature that you've seen, or maybe even as a place you've been. If you've been to like if you're, a traveler and you've been to like a cathedral in Italy or something like that. I've never been to Italy, so I wouldn't know. But like if you walked into a place and like there's murals on the wall and the ceiling's painted and it's like, and you just walk in and you're like, oh my goodness, this place is gorgeous. So things like that. So think about like the most amazing place where your breath was just taken away when you're like, oh my goodness, this is like amazing. That is not even scratching the surface of what your body can do. And I'm not even talking about the outside of your body. I'm talking about like your inside too, like both, not one or the other, like both, because your inside, there's so many like systems inside our bodies that help us to heal. Like that's why when I was talking about this other slide about all our systems are connected, that's the cool thing about this one, is because these systems are working. You've got your lymphatic system and your immune, which is like tied to your immune system. And then you've got your central nervous system, because we talked about the vagus nerve if you've been in any of my other webinars. But like all these things that work together, and when you get them flowing together and operating the way that they're supposed to, they start, like your body and your brain start working together and your body starts to heal. Inflammation goes down, pain is reduced, and things start to function the way that they're supposed to once we learn how to tap into like how they're created. And so I'm not going to go into that as much in this one. This webinar is more of like the mindset piece, but go back to some of my other webinars that I talk about the science of like how things are working, and then what conscious things we can do to help our bodies heal, because it's so amazing. And also that goes into number 3. So I'm gonna stop myself, and I have some more things to say, but it goes on for this third one. Okay, so lie number 3, my body can't be trusted. So if you struggle with an autoimmune issue, which I'm assuming is probably most of the people on this call, you've probably been told by doctors, like I remember when I was first explained to about like ulcerative colitis is an autoimmune issue or autoimmune disorder. The doctors explain it like an autoimmune disorder is when your body fights against itself, and we don't know why, but it just does, and there's no cure, and it just happens that way. So you probably were wondering, like, if I have autoimmune issues and my body is fighting against itself, it's like fighting against me every single day, like, why would I be able to trust it? Like, how could I possibly be a friend to my body and learn to actually listen to my body? Why would I want to listen to my body? It's fighting against me all the time. So if that's what you struggle with, or you've thought that before, I want to just challenge you that you can learn to be a friend with your body and trust and listen to it, because our bodies are messengers, and our bodies have a brain, and it's taking in information all the time, and our bodies are trying to tell us things. We can't always match it with words, like it doesn't always match in our brains with words, but our body still is sending us signals. But it's just like learning to be friends anytime, especially as an adult. It's hard to be a friend, get adult friends. And so it takes time. So like how many of y'all, like I just recently moved about 6 months ago. So like how many of y'all as adults, like as kids, it feels easier to get to have friends. Like you're just playing on the playground. And if you happen to be playing in the same area or with the same toys, you're just like, oh, let's be friends. And then you're just automatically friends. So with adults, sometimes it's hard to make friends. Um, but it just takes effort. It takes mistakes sometimes, making mistakes. It takes, asking for redos, apologies, and just trying again and not giving up, but just like, hey, I'm sorry that came out wrong. Like, will you forgive me? Can we try again? Can we try this again? And then just making an effort, asking people, hey, you want to come hang out? And even if they can't, like not feeling taking it personally, but just trying again, like, okay, well, what about this day? And okay, maybe next week we can figure out something next week. Like just being flexible. Well, the same approach is the same with like learning to be a friend to your body, especially if you don't know what it means to be a friend to your body. Like you feel like your body for so long, your body has rejected you, and your body annoys you, and you don't even like your body. Then learning to be a friend to it is going to take some work. It's going to take some time. And it may even take just telling your body, like, just for starters, telling your body, like, I'm sorry I've treated you this way. And I'm sorry I haven't been listening. Can we start over? Can we try again? Can we give this a shot? And I know that sounds super simplistic, especially like if you're like, why would you be talking to your body? Like that doesn't make any sense. But your brain believes the words that come out of your mouth. And so when you talk out loud to your body, it starts changing your mindset too. And then it starts the whole thing, it starts changing how you think about your body. And it also starts just changing how you treat your body and how you feel about your body. And so, but like I said, it's going to take some time. So that leads me to just some action steps for y'all. My first one, and probably the most important one, is just take ridiculously tiny steps toward healing every day. Ridiculously tiny. So when I'm talking about being friends with your body, like maybe you decide and just pick one thing. So don't pick all these things, but pick one thing. Maybe you decide that when you catch yourself saying something out loud, like, oh, my body's so annoying. Why is my body so weird? Or, oh, my body's just being weird today. It's just the way it is, or something like that. If you start catching yourself downgrading your body, stop yourself and be like, whoa, whoa. Okay, I'm sorry, body, that I was saying that about you. I'm going to choose to try to be your friend. I know that you're doing your best. You're trying to protect me. Um, and I'm going to try to listen to you the best I can today. So just something simple like that. You do it in your own words. You do it however you want to. The first time I actually got this idea from Dr. Hillary McBride. If you've seen my other webinars, you've heard me talk about her stuff. I've got her books on my resources tab on the website, therestoredholisticcoaching.com. But when she presented that in one of her books about talking to yourself and talking to your body. And I thought it was really weird. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Or like putting your hand on your chest and just, okay, body, I'm going to choose to listen to you today. I used to think that was so weird and so awkward. But when I started doing it, I was like, oh, this really actually works. Like it really helped me see, like, I wasn't being very nice to my body at all. Like I was saying very, very negative and bad things about my body. And when I was younger, I knew I was, but even when I got older, I still would be annoyed with my body and I didn't even notice it until I started trying to change it. And so there is an analogy or like a parable, and I don't know who originally said it, but the on this action step number one about taking ridiculously tiny steps toward healing, there's a story of like if you have two ships and they are in Antarctica and they're going to head toward the mainland. So you've got two ships. One's going to go toward Europe. So you have it, geared toward Europe, and it's going to go this direction and land in Europe. Well, then if the ship next to it is only 2 degrees off, when they start traveling, by the time they get to where they're supposed to go, one is going to be in the United States and the other one is going to be in Europe. Like they are on completely opposite sides of the ocean, and they were only 2 degrees away from each other. And so, and you can take that any kind of way, as far as if two people are walking and one is 2 degrees away from another. When they land, like if they go 100 miles or whatever, they're going to be in completely different places. And so that's the challenge with this action step, is when you take ridiculously tiny, simple steps toward healing, like you're just going to change one tiny thing, but you're going to choose to do it every day for 30 days, for 60 days, for a year, and you just do this one little tiny thing every day. That's your 2% difference. And you're going to land in 365 days or whatever. You're going to land in a completely different place, mentally and physically, than you would have if you hadn't done that. And so once you get that and it like becomes a habit, you could try another little tiny thing, and add it and then go even further. But like, don't try to change, like, oh, I'm gonna try to change these 5 things all at once. Like, don't do that. Just pick one thing, like the smallest little tiny step that you know that you can commit to every single day, and do that. Like an example in my life is like just learning to move my body every day, just to keep it healthy, and it helps me learn to listen to my physical body when I move it around and just get used, like familiar with it as a body. Sometimes we have to do that with autoimmune issues, like get familiar with like just feeling our body as a body. And that's why I have the expressive movement classes that I offer. But I have made a commitment to myself that at least 15 minutes, and it's usually longer than that, but this is my commitment. My little tiny step is for 15 minutes every single day, I'm going to do something, whether it's just stretching like yoga or Pilates or, push-ups, or just putting on dance music, like fun music and dancing. I'm going to do that every single day, at least 15 minutes. And that's how I stay consistent. Because if I told myself, oh, I'm going to exercise for 30 minutes every single day, yeah, that wouldn't happen. Like it just wouldn't happen. I would not stay consistent with it. But I can do something for 15 minutes every day. And so that's my 2%. And so something like that, that's like super small, that you're like, I could do that every day. Yeah, I could do it. And maybe it's not a physical thing. Maybe it's like, I'm going to journal 3 sentences every single day just to help myself mentally process through what I'm going through, or something like that, like super, super simple. And then number 2, talk to yourself out loud. I won't go into that as much because I've kind of talked about that throughout this webinar, but just talking to yourself out loud, like when you catch yourself, it doesn't mean you're never going to say anything negative about yourself, but like when you catch yourself saying something negative, just talk to yourself and be like, I'm sorry, body. Can we start over again? I'm going to try to trust you. I'm going to try to listen to you. And then just piggybacking off of that is number 3, is write your body a letter. So maybe the talking out loud right now for yourself is like, that's too much. You just can't. It's awkward and you're embarrassed and you just don't want to. That's okay. What about writing your body a letter? Just start with like, dear body. And then, you can say, I'm sorry. There's a really good letter in The Wisdom of Your Body by Dr. Hillary McBride. And this is on the resources page. So it's restoredholisticcoaching.com/resources. That's got all my free guides, my free resources, and also some of my favorite books and probiotics and stuff like that. But in this book, in the epilogue, she has a letter, and it's pretty long. It takes about 7 minutes for me to read out loud. So I'm not going to read it for this webinar this time, but she just starts with, dear body, and then she just she says like, I'm sorry for telling lies about you. I'm sorry for downgrading you when you were just trying to protect me. You were just trying to do the best that you could. And then she goes on to say, like, I love you for the fact that I can move around and be in my favorite places with my people that I love. And I love you for trying to protect me, even though sometimes I don't understand exactly what's going on, and stuff like that. And so it's just it's accepting the weird and the confusing, but also acknowledging the good parts of your body. So just start there. It doesn't have to be something super big, but just acknowledge the places where you haven't been listening to your body, or where you've been um, downgrading to your body, like the way you've talked to your body. And then even you can just acknowledge, if you're at the place where you're like, I don't even like any part of my body, acknowledge the place, like, I love you even though I don't understand what's going on with you right now. And I love you because you or you can just say thank you. If the I love you part is too awkward, you can just say thank you for doing your best to protect me. Thank you for keeping me alive this long. Help me to uh I want to try to respect you and take care of you the best that I can every day, or something like that. So it's not like you're not worshiping your body, or you're not, but you're just acknowledging and giving it the respect that it deserves, because it is just made in an amazing way. And it is like, while we're on this earth, we have our body. Your body has been there since before you were born, and your body will be there when you die. Like, your body, nobody in your life will ever be there from day one to the end of the day, except for you and your body. Like, and so just giving it the respect it deserves. And it doesn't mean, it doesn't even mean like you're not flaunting your body, you're not being prideful about your body, but you're saying, hey, my body is really cool and it's made in a really amazing way. And I'm going to treat it with the respect it deserves. And I'm going to ask that others treat it with respect too. I hope that makes sense. I do want to give you a free guide. So I will put the link of these in the follow-up emails for you. But it's 7 signs that holistic coaching might be right for you. So especially if any of these that we've talked about today, these mindsets just really hit home with you, it might be a sign, that might be one of the signs that your next step is to do one-on-one coaching with me. But if you're not sure, if you're still kind of on the fence, you're like, yeah, I don't know if that really fits me or not, just grab this guide. It's free, and it gives you 7 things that you can look for in your life that like might point you toward, hey, one-on-one coaching might be what you need. Like, because holistic is whole body coaching. So I'm going to look at your whole body. I'm going to talk to you about listening to your body, but also, I mean, we're going to look at mindsets. We might even look at, food. We might look at daily movement, that sort of thing. But your whole body, there's so many things that go on with your body that contribute to your health and your wellness, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we want to talk about that. So just grab that free guide. That's my gift for you. And if you do decide that you want some one-on-one coaching with me, the cool thing about the individual coaching sessions is that these are specific strategies that work with your body, because these webinars and my info on social media and stuff, that can give you like general ideas and things, like helpful general tips. But when we do the one-on-one coaching, we're diving into exactly what you're struggling with, and exactly where do you need to focus your attention. What is the one thing that you need to win in your life right now? What does health and wellness look like for you, mentally, emotionally, and physically? Because that's where my therapy background comes in too. So I will talk to you about your physical health and your physical body, but also we can talk about the psychological side of it, your mindsets and how you see your body. And I don't even know what it means to be familiar with my body as a body, because I've learned to ignore it my whole life. That sort of thing. Like, what does that even look like? That's what we can work with together. And so for those of y'all in this webinar, if you are watching this on Thursday night, March the 14th, my bonus for y'all is that if you schedule a session before midnight tonight, Thursday, March 14th, if you schedule a session before midnight, you will get a session for free. So all the coaching sessions are 50 minutes each, and you can do an individual session. Those are $89, or you can do the bundle of 4, which is going to be, if you do the bundle of 4, you'll only pay $75 per session for the bundle, but then you'll get 5 sessions. So if you get 1 session, you'll get, and you schedule before midnight tonight, you'll get 2 sessions because you get 1 for free. And then if you do the bundle of 4, you will actually get 5 sessions for the price of 4 because you get that 1 for free. And so this deal only goes till midnight because I can tell like when you schedule, like it'll tell me when you set up your time. So I'll know when you scheduled and if you scheduled before midnight. So grab that, jump on that. I can't wait to work with y'all. I hope that this was helpful. I I I want to be able to give you the tools that you need to be a friend with your body. Especially just I go back to just because I specifically work with people with autoimmune disorders. Like I remember the days when like I just went one day at a time and one foot in front of the other because I had to, and I was just trying to survive and just make it through. And there was no way I acknowledged what my body was telling me because I was trying to ignore it because it was annoying me. And I just, you tolerate it because you're just trying to live. And there's another way. There is a different way, and it feels so much more alive. And it doesn't mean you don't have bad days. And it doesn't mean you don't have sluggish days or down days or painful days or whatever. But when those days come, then I learn to be gentle with my body and give myself permission. Like, okay, you have permission to move slow today, and you have permission to just be kind to your body. And it's really changed the way that I live so that whether it's an up or down day, like even when there's still ebbs and flows and stress and pain and heartache and fear and all that, doesn't mean that we don't have those like the ups and downs. But when it does, I've learned to travel with it instead of like trying to shove it down or ignore it. Just go with it. And so that's what this whole process of holistic coaching is working with our physical bodies and our mental health and our emotions, and like getting that window of tolerance where we can do the ebbs and the flows. It doesn't mean life stressors don't come, but we quit trying to shove them down. We acknowledge them and we're like, oh yeah, that's coming up, or that mindset, or yeah, that lie about not being worthy, that's coming up again. Like acknowledging it, but instead of shaming ourselves for feeling it, or like, no, that I shouldn't feel that way, it should be, that's bad, go away. Just acknowledge like, oh yeah, that is coming up. Okay, well, body, I'm really sorry that you're feeling this way, and I'm gonna sit with you in this, and we're gonna work through it together. And then once you work through it, then you let it go and you're able to move on. And that starts healing. It starts healing your mind. It starts healing the way that you talk to yourself. It starts healing the way you interact with other people. And it starts healing your physical body. It sounds crazy, but it really does. When we learn to have self-compassion with ourselves, it starts healing, physically healing our bodies. So that's what I want for y'all. And I would love, love, love to work with you one-on-one to dive into your specific issues that you need. So I would love for you to schedule so we can chat. And that link will also be in the follow-up emails to schedule for sessions. And if you have any questions at all, you can always reply to those emails or get me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and ask me any questions. I will respond personally to you. Thank you so much for your time. Can't wait to see y'all. Talk to you soon.